Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Thursday, September 7th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. We've got Hurricane Lee rapidly intensifying. It hit Cat 4 earlier in the afternoon, and it will be a major Cat 4, Cat 5 for at least the next 4 or 5 days as it moves east towards Florida. Now, most of the models have it hooking up towards the East Coast, and the biggest effect should be South Carolina all the way up to the Mid-Atlantic, as the current spaghetti models suggest. But keep calm. It's boom time. Parts of southern Wisconsin now experiencing exceptional drought, which is the most intense category. Take a look at the Drought Monitor. This is one of the last areas in the United States that is currently in extreme or exceptional drought. And that is because the fearmongers and the climate alarmists have been lying to us for years, and rain has saturated most of the U.S. Now, there are some other regions in the U.S. that are affected with severe and extreme drought. It's all in the central strip for the most part of the U.S. The drought in California completely eliminated in a single year, as well as Nevada and Utah, but not a peep from the mainstream. We do have some severe drought still left in central Texas, East Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis, as well as Louisiana. But with the tropical systems that are coming to the U.S. through October, I think that all of this is going to end. We just have to pray for the upper Midwest. Hurricane Lee strengthens to Cat 4 earlier today, and let's take a look at the latest update. They have not updated it in 3 hours. We are looking for advisory number 11, and it has not come. I don't know why. They could be still putting planes out there, but this is the longest lull in updates I've ever seen for the National Hurricane Center. So Hurricane Lee still sits at Cat 4 with 130 mile per hour sustained winds. And here is one of many of the models. And let's just take a look at where the GFS model moves this baby through. And then we'll look at the the European model. We're going to move this through from Tuesday, where it'll be Cat 4, Cat 5 Tuesday. Massive storm, 500 miles wide. Look at this thing. This is intense. And by Wednesday, even up in Bermuda, even though it's 1,000 miles away, they will be experiencing the hurricane tropical storm winds on the perimeter of this. Now, according to the GFS model, this is headed right up towards Bermuda, and on the major winds will be on the eastern edge of the eye wall, which is the worst scenario. It's going to be pushing up huge amounts of water up and over the island. And I did not want to do that. All right, let's bring it back. Bring it back in. And you can see how it's moving up the East Coast here. So there could be major effects from North Carolina up through Washington, D.C., New York City, Maine. It's insane. And Nova Scotia especially, as it's going to be very close to the shore there in the model as far as the GFS model as it moves up there. So huge amounts of wind for Sydney, St. John's Island, Corner Brook. And let's take a quick look at the EFCM model and just bring it back a few days. Okay, there we are. There we have the storm. Wow, this thing is insane. 150 mile per hour winds probably in there we could find. I found 158 mile per hour winds in one of the models. So this could be unprecedented. This could be one of the strongest hurricanes ever. But at its peak of strength, it's going to be in the middle of nowhere here in the southwestern Atlantic here. When it peaks in strength. Sometime, I think Wednesday the 13th or the 14th, it will hit maximum strength. Take a look at this eye wall. This is amazing. Look at the colors in there. Let me just go back a few days, and we will tighten this up. And I want to show you some of the things. Look at that eye wall. That is insane. One of the most powerful and organized storms I've seen in a while. And let's see what the wind speeds we can pick up in here are. Yeah, just about 130, 140 miles an hour, maybe. No, not anything above Cat 3 in here. Yeah, Cat 3, Cat 4 right there. Boom. 140, 141, 144, 145. And so this is Tuesday, 145. Still Cat 4, just about above San Juan, Puerto Rico. So there could be some flooding. There's going to be some onshore flows here for many of these towns. And when those high tides come in for the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, and other places, this could be pulling those tides up and onto the island. So this is a major storm setting up. We're going to have lots to talk about for the next several days, as this is one of the most spectacular hurricanes this season for the East Coast, to potentially affect the East Coast and the Caribbean. So we're keeping a close eye on it for you. Now there's the precipitation forecast as it moves up the East Coast. But I want to bring your eyes in here that we're going to be getting much needed moisture in the Four Corners region. We haven't seen rain all summer. It's been 5 months. We've had 2 spritzes in less than half an inch in 5 months. My goodness, this is the driest it's been in a decade, and I think many people in our region are also experiencing that. Why there aren't wildfires everywhere is beyond reproach. We're doing pretty good for wildfire season being so dry, but we're praying for this moisture to come in the next 2 weeks. And something else that slipped by the mainstream media, 10 gigatons of ice building just after the melt season. This just happened a few days ago on on Greenland, and it is record-breaking. This is the highest spike at this time ever recorded in history. And so certainly we're not burning up. Seismic update, no quakes of note. Worldwide is all quiet. We've a flurry of activity here in the Kamchatka, but all normal levels. Worldwide volcano news. Pretty much normal activity worldwide as far as volcanoes, except for an uptick at Shishaldin. We've got another puff and extended volcanic ash aloft at 31,000 feet today. So the 9th paroxysm at Shishaldin continues. I think we do have maybe some other volcanic activity of note. Fukuoka Okanoba volcano in Japan. New explosive activity underneath the surface here with the new pumice raft spreading to the northwest. We also have Popo to 20,000 feet and Semaru to 16. Space weather news update. One flare of note over the last 48 hours. Hours of powers. That's an M2.1. This solar eruption that was observed today, 2040 UTC, was blasted off the limb here. And let's take a look at a quick video of this. You're going to see the plasma filament, massive, blowing up and away from Earth. Up here at the top left. Spectacular filament eruption, coronal mass ejection from a solar flare, which came in at M2.1. Probably not any associated risk to Earth, as KP is now low. KP2, we've been going between KP1 and 2 all day. Very low solar activity during solar max. Those are the facts. And more facts coming in from NOAA. Just like NASA, never a straight answer. NOAA, we know, doesn't know a thing about actual data. They adulterate it. They change it. They change it to meet the current narrative that the quote-unquote shadow government, the deep state, is pushing Agenda 2030, the WEF, the UN. You know the players. NOAA's Space Weather Prediction Center is forecasting 0 sunspots from 2035 through 2040. And we don't know how long that goes, but if you look at it, it starts hitting 0 sunspots right here, 2034. And it continues throughout the entire forecast through 2040 to 0, which means we could add probably another 5 years of 0 before we get up to these levels here, which are still at 0. This is a big development, as they are actually showing the actual data of what the mainstream government people think is going to happen. The sunspot low number, 0 for a decade. Look at this. This goes all the way up to 2031. We could be seeing 0 sunspots for decades, starting as early as 2031. That is just 8 years away, folks. 7, actually. We're at the end of the year here. And that actually extends all... This is not looking good. Even the mainstream is now showing the actual data that grand solar minimum is about to plummet to a hellish bottom. Weird dinosaur prompts rethink of bird evolution. Now, we've been telling you chickens are dinosaurs forever, and I think they've just confirmed it. The fossil as old as the first bird Archaeopteryx and might have specialized in running or wading instead of flying, but especially pecking and eating anything in its path, just like our birds here in the yard. Cancer in people under 50 surges by 79%, and nobody knows what's happening. It's the vaccines. It could be the Western diet, alcohol. There are other things to blame, but no one seems to be able to hone in on it. It's the vaccines. Have you heard of the 34th annual Crestone Energy Fair? It's the longest running sustainability fair in the country. And it's in Crestone, Colorado, the hardest to get to place in the entire world. September 16th and 17th, 2023. Reimagine Self, Village and Nature. Lee and I will be there. Rex Bear's going to be there. Leak Project and many others. Dozens, hundreds of experts on natural building, cob, earth ships, sustainability, internal energy, meditation, spirit work, and on and on. If you want to dip your toes into the esoteric, and the sovereignty community, you need to be here. This is where the experts that have been doing this for decades are located. So join us out at the 34th annual Crestone Energy Fair. Leave your shoes at home, come barefoot, and volunteer and support the work we're doing. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. And that's free. Just share the video. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do financially. As little as $1 a month, you can watch all of our podcasts commercial free. And most importantly, be safe. We love you. And that is a boom.